Hey everyone, it's Charlene. Today I'm going to be making a card with the lovely Layers Fireplace from Honeybee Stamps. It is this beautiful layered fireplace and I'm in that Halloween spirit right now, so I'm going to use this add-on that coordinates perfectly with the fireplace set. This is the lovely Layers Fireplace add-on called Falloween. I've been waiting to use this since last fall. It has all of these cute little add-ons that you can use with the fireplace. You can see here is a cauldron, a basket with a layer, pumpkins, spiderweb bunting, a nice comfy chair for your little ghost to sit in. You've got a layered candelabra, nice rug, all kinds of different things in here. I did also want to show you there's a couple of other add-on sets that coordinate with the fireplace. This one is the Lodge add-on. Lots of fun rustic kind of things. You've got a saloon sign, you have antlers for a deer, you've got little whiskey bottles or moonshine bottles, cacti, cowboy hats, lots of different options with this one. And then there is also a Christmas add-on for the fireplace set. It is super cute. It has a layered Christmas tree. It has Santa that you can have coming out from the fireplace. It has a rocking chair, a wreath, bows, stockings to hang in front of the fireplace, as well as Santa's sack of presents. These could be used on their own or with the fireplace, and you don't necessarily have to use this one for Halloween. You also could create a very cute fall scene with all of the leaves and the acorns, the pumpkins, all of those cute things. Let's start by picking our color palette. We're going to start here with the fireplace. I've chosen two different warm grays for the base layer of everything, and then also this little fence that goes in front of the fireplace. For the first accent layers, I've got a little bit lighter of a warm gray, and then for the remaining accent layers, as well as the inset for the fireplace, I'm using some white, and you'll see why I'm using white on that inset. Now, because there are a lot of straight edges on these dies, you're going to want to make sure to angle your dies, so that way you get a nice clean cut and no skipping as you're running things through your die cutting machine. So I'll cut these out, and then you can see there is this nice embossed detail for the stonework on the background of the fireplace. We'll go ahead and cut out the next layer and then cut everything for our white accent layer. I've cut everything out, but before I move on, I want to take this inset layer, the inset that's going to look like the inside of the fireplace. We're going to have a fun cauldron in there, so I want it to look like it's nice and warm, like there's a hot fire underneath that cauldron burning just out of sight. So I'm starting here with this beautiful dark red-orange ink, and I'm bringing it up from the bottom of the inset piece there, just blending it up, and then I will come in with kind of a medium orange, and I'm going to blend that across the middle of the white cardstock. So just blending it into that red orange, but still leaving a bit of a space at the top. Lastly, I'm going to bring in my yellow here, and I will blend this from the top part into the orange. Keep in mind this is not all going to show, right, because the cauldron's going to be there. Finished up that first layer, so I'll bring in a second layer to build up the color, make it nice and bold, and to give us that seamless blend. So here's the nice blended piece. For the bottom layer of the fireplace, I'm bringing in some WG3. I'm going to run this along all of the areas that are embossed into the paper. That creates the grout areas around our stonework. Then when I've gone over all of those, I'll bring in colorless blender, use it on its side like this, and just run it over all of those areas that I have colored. The colorless blender is going to help to smooth out any irregularities in the lines and make it so that it only looks dark down in the embossed details. I like to do this trick with wood grain as well. Now we can layer everything together. I've added some glue to the back of the fireplace insert, and I'm going to lay this where the embossed detail is. Then I'll take this larger accent layer and add some glue to the back and layer this right over the fireplace. It lines up with all of the existing edges. Add some glue to the top main accent layer, and this will layer directly over the top portion. Add some glue to the stonework piece that's going to go around our fireplace insert, and this will layer right around the edges of the insert. Add some glue to the back of the first mantle accent layer, and what this is going to do is allow that darker gray to peek out through all of those tiny little dome cutouts. Next, add glue to the very tip-top molding layer. This is in white, and it goes right along the top of our piece. You can see it's kind of angled. It makes it easy to tell where it's supposed to go. And then adding glue to the bottommost piece of molding, and this is going to go along the base of the fireplace, and again it kind of has like a little notch on each side, which is how you can tell it's the base piece. There are two long skinny pieces. I'm going to take the one that is thicker of the two and add some glue to the back, and this is going to layer right over the mantle. This is going to give us the top white portion of the mantle to help break it up and look like there's a nice shelf there. And then that second skinnier piece, I'll add some glue to the back, and this is going to go along the bottom part of that mantle accent layer. So all this beautiful molding, you of course could do this fireplace more rustic or more modern, lots of different options with it. Adding glue to the back of one of the columns. Now the columns are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter which side I put the column on, but we're going to layer one on each side. And then there are some molding accents for the top and bottom of those columns. So I'll just add a little bit of glue in each of those areas, pick up the accent detail, and just put it on there with my wax pickup tool. So here is our nice finished fireplace with that super cozy insert. I love how that blend turned out. I'm going to wait to put this front piece on until I have everything all ready to go. So we're going to move on to picking some colors for all of our fun Halloween accents. For my color palette, I'm choosing it based on this beautiful piece of patterned paper. This is from the Fall is in the Air paper pack. Really gorgeous colors in here. So I'll start by cutting out all of the small pieces. For the chair, I'm using this lovely dark red orange, and then I'm also using a lighter reddish orange, and that reddish orange piece will be the inset piece of the chair. For the chair legs, I have a nice dark brown that I'm cutting out. And then for the cobwebs as well as the rug, I'm going to do it from that same dark warm gray I used earlier. I have several different colors here for the pumpkins. I've got some orange, some yellow, as well as some dark blue that I'm going to cut from. The cauldron I'm going to cut from black, as well as the ghost's eyes and mouth. And then I will also cut the base of the candelabra from that same dark blue I used a little bit earlier, as well as the outside of the book. The contents of our cauldron is this nice yellowish green color. For the steam, I'm cutting it out of white, as well as the candles and the ghost and the pages of the book. I'll start by adding the center piece of the chair, and this is going to layer right along the left-hand side of the main chair piece. Then I'll add a few foam squares here to the back of the remaining piece, because this is going to be lifted off the chair, so it gives it some dimension. I'm not going to put it on yet though first, because I want to put together my ghost. I am going to go ahead and put on the chair legs. They're tiny, so use those wax pickup tools, just dotting with glue and then coming in and adding each of those. I'll set that aside and move on here to my little ghost. I'm going to start by just dotting glue in the embossed details. I find this much easier than trying to put glue on the backs of those tiny little pieces. And then I'll use my wax pickup tool to pick those up and pop them right over where they're supposed to go. So now our ghost has his face. There is an arm piece here that we need to add to the ghost as well, but we're going to wait because we want to have our book ready and put that there first. So always pay attention to kind of what's going on with your die cuts. If there's going to be something that you need to layer in between, hang off, hold off on that until you have put together those other pieces as well. I'm going to add some shading to the ghost as well. So I have some light gray ink. I'm just working it a little bit into my brush, and then I'm going to swing my brush back and forth over the areas where there is a curve, so like a little inset. So I'll do that there, as well as a little bit along the bottom of the ghost's tail, as well as on his middle part, kind of his body, because I know I'm going to put that book there, and I want to make sure that the white pages of the book show really well. Now that I've added the shading, I can go ahead and tuck the book in here and put it so that I know his left hand is going to just cover over it. And I do apologize if you hear any noise in the background. My son has friends over and I'm trying to keep the noise down, but you know, teenagers, sometimes it's hard for them. So our little cute ghost is nice and complete now. I'm going to set him down in the chair so I can get an idea of placement. And then I'm going to just hold the whole piece in place while I add my glue to the back. That is much easier in this kind of situation rather than trying to make sure it gets in the right spot and having to pull things up if it's not quite right. So I'm just tucking that glue in there behind the top and bottom and holding it in place. Then I can take off the release tape from the foam squares on that left arm of the chair and pop it right over our cute little ghost, and that just matches right along the edge of the piece. For our candelabra, I'm going to get some more of that gray ink, and I want the bottoms of my candles to be gray. I don't know why, I just thought that would add a little spooky touch. So I've added that gray on there. Then I can add glue to the base of the candelabra, which I've done in that nice dark blue. So now when we're looking at it, we'll have the blue, then the gray, and then the white. I've got OR 1.6, and then I'm going to blend it with Y 2.3 to create our candle flames at the top. I love doing this trick. For the vapor or steam that's coming off of our cauldron here, I've got a nice little angle brush, and I'm going to do the same kind of thing that I did with our ghost. I'm going to pull that brush right along those little areas where it curves in, and then I'm also going to bring a little bit of ink up and onto each side. I am going to glue the potion portion to the cauldron first. So this will layer right along the top of the cauldron, right along where the embossed detail is. And then I can put a line of glue at the bottom of the vapor or the steam, and that's going to go right in the center of the potion portion. I want to add some details on the cute little pumpkins. They do have gorgeous embossed details on them, so really I'm just wanting to bring out some of those details. So I'm bringing in my white gel pen and I'm running it along some of the embossing just to help bring it out. So now we can go ahead and finish putting together our fireplace. So I'll add glue to the back of the cauldron and just rest that at the bottom of the fireplace insert. Add some glue to the right and left hand side of the little fencing. This is going to go along the base. You don't need to add glue to the entire thing because it's going to adhere to the columns, which are actually a little bit raised off of that back layer, so your glue wouldn't touch anything anyway in this case. For the cobwebs, I'll run one little strip of glue along the top back, and then this piece you can put wherever you want, but it is meant to adhere right underneath that white mantle layer. As for the background, we are going to need to trim some of it off because we're going to have our rug down there and it's just going to get lost. We want to create a nice little grounding spot. So I'm cutting about 1 1/4 inches off, and now I can add glue to the back of the cut piece and adhere it to my A2 sized card base, and that's going to give us a nice white strip at the bottom. I can add my glue here to the back of the fireplace now, and this will line up right along the bottom of the pattern paper, so it looks like you have a fireplace on the wall in your room. And then we will add some glue here to the back of the rug. This rug gives you some forced perspective because it's cut at an angle on 2 of the sides, so you want the angle kind of going like a trapezoid here, so that way it looks like you're looking towards that fireplace that's a little bit farther back. I am going to stamp out my sentiment. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use at this point, so I'm stamping out Ghostly Greetings and Boo to You. These are from the Sweet Halloween stamps and dies. I'll stamp those out here in some intense black ink. Go ahead and ink those up and flip and press and lift. I'm going to do a second stamping just to build up the black here. So we'll flip and press and lift. Perfect. Hold those down with some Low-Tack tape with the coordinating dies while I cut them out. I decided on Ghostly Greetings up here. I have a good idea of where I want to put everything. I'm going to bring one of the pumpkins in here and I'm going to adhere it to the bottom left-hand side of the chair because I felt like it kind of balanced the 3 pumpkins over on the right-hand side, which are in a triangle formation. So when you're balancing, you're also balancing the entire card, right? You want to make sure that you don't have one big empty white space or something like that. You want to make sure that it feels like it's equally balanced across the card. I hope that makes sense as I'm saying it. I know it sounds kind of silly, but we've got kind of like 3 clusters here. We've got the fireplace, and then we have the ghost with the pumpkin, and then we have our 3 little pumpkins that are clustered over here on the right. So I will glue together all the pumpkins, and then you saw just a moment ago I did pop up the chair with some foam tape, and that just made it easier for me because then I didn't have to worry about the different layers of things that were on the card. I will add foam tape to the pumpkins for the same reason, because they also are going over the fireplace. I'm going to put them just slightly left of the edge of the fireplace, and then add some glue here to the back of the candelabra. This would be a little too tricky to try and pop up, so I'm just going to glue it directly here on the mantle. I did pop up the greeting here. This would look really good in lots of different spaces. You can see as I'm moving it around there. I am going to put it up here at the top because I feel like the top is a little bit empty. If we had created more things to put on our mantle, I might have put it down a little farther. Adding 3 of the medium-sized black gems from the Sweet and Spooky Gem stickers just to add a little bit of sparkle. And here is our finished super cute and spooky card using the Lovely Layers Fireplace and the Falloween add-on. I hope you picked up some tips and tricks today. Please be sure to like and subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell so that you'll get notified about future videos here on the Honeybee Stamps YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.